Once upon a time, a royal yagna blazed in Hastinapur. Priests chanted, flames roared. Three young princes, bored and restless, spotted a frail puppy wandering nearby. They decided to lock the puppy in an empty dark room and punish him for entering the holy yagna ground. Hurt and confused, the puppy limped back to his mother. Sarama, the celestial hound. Tears still fresh, he whimpered.
Why did they punish me, Ma? Does God really think I'm dirty?
Sarama's heart seared with silent rage. She went straight to Janamejaya, the king of Hastinapur and eldest brother of the three cruel princes.
My son wronged no one, yet your brothers tormented him for sport.
Her voice was cold steel.
Tell me, O king, is this the justice of Hastinapur?
The king had no answer, only shame. Sarama's next words rang like prophecy.
The consequences of this act will strike when you least expect them. Remember, the karma of injustice spares no one.
Years passed, but Sarama's curse lingered on the king's heart like a shadow. One day, while hunting, Janamejaya crossed paths with a learned monk. He could absolve the king of all sins. All but one.
No man can wash away a wrong done to Shiva's Vahana.
The monk warned. The king bowed his head, knowing all dogs belong to Shiva. Seeing the king's remorse, the monk offered a path.
When the time comes, grant one Brahmin his wish. That is the only way to soften the blow of what's to come.
A few years later, a sage named Utanka appeared in Janamejaya's court.
Your father Parikshit's death was not an accident. He was killed by Takshaka, the serpent king. It's your duty to take revenge of your father's death. Do the Sarpa Satra, a snake sacrifice. Kill Takshaka and his entire clan.
Blinded by rage, Janamejaya ordered it at once, unaware that Utanka sought his own revenge through the king. On the day of the sacrifice, the priests chanted, and snakes of every shape and size, drawn by the force of mantras, were dragged into the flames. Takshaka, the serpent king, tried hard to resist the pull. Watching his kin perish helplessly, Vasuki, the serpent god, sent his nephew, Astika, the son of a serpent goddess, and a learned Brahmin monk. Astika reached the yagna and offered glowing praise to the king and the gathered monks. Impressed by his wisdom, Janamejaya remembered words of the monk he met years ago, and he offered the pious Brahmin Astika a boon. Astika asked for just one thing.
Stop the yagna.
The king refused. Vengeance for Takshaka still ruled his heart. But when Takshaka was finally being pulled toward the flames, Astika raised his hand and said just one word.
Stay.
The collective hymns of the priests faltered. The mantras lost power. Awed by the power of Astika's single command, the priests urged the king to stop. Janamejaya granted Astika his wish. The yagna ended. The life of Takshaka and the remaining serpents were spared. After everyone left, the king sat in silence, torn between duty and regret. And just then, an old man stepped forward.
Lament not, O king.
The old man said gently,
You did the right thing by sparing the serpents. All beings have an equal right to live upon this land.
The king looked at him, eyes clouded with grief. But what kind of son does that make me? One who couldn't avenge his father's death.
Your father's death was not simply the doing of Takshaka. It was the last bead in a long, tangled rosary of choices. Yours, his, and those before him.
Janamejaya was confused.
What do you mean?
No curse, no revenge, no karma ever begins or ends in isolation. The world runs on cause and effect.
The king was intrigued. How did the old man know so much about his family? So he asked his name. The man smiled.
I am Vaishampayana, disciple of Ved Vyasa, and I shall tell you the story of the Mahabharata. That is where your answers wait.